Hey folks, happy Halloween. David, John, Claudette, Dubwubs. What's going on, folks? Got a link posted up. Just an open panel, not really discussing much of anything. Get a couple people in here. Happy LG Wing Day to you too. Hey, you. Hope everybody had a great Halloween. I know we did. Took the girls out. They got a whole bunch of candy, so they're happy. So, hey, Swamp Fox News. Good to see you, bud. Power, what's up? Live BD, good to see you, partner. Been a minute. Good to see you're still around, man. And guys, remember, here's a link here if anybody wants to hop up on the screen. I will go over some of my cases and stuff. We'll go over some of that. Frank Pants, what's going on, big guy? Audit Palooza. I knew what you meant, buddy. Exactly. Pantsless. Alright, guys, I got the link in the chat in case anybody wants to hop up on this panel and shoot the shit. But if not, I'm going to start off by saying that the Dothan, I got two lawsuits in Dothan. One was against the sheriff and one was against Officer Bridges and Officer Dodson. And the case against Bridges and Dodson, they are appealing the judge's ruling on their motion to dismiss. They're appealing that to the 11th Circuit. And we're supposed to have oral arguments the week before Thanksgiving. So that should be in 2 or 3 weeks. We should have oral arguments on that case. It should be streamed. So I'm going to see if we can do a live stream and stream the oral arguments in that case for everybody. If not, if it is streamed and I can't stream it, I'll screen record it and then I'll post it up and we can all watch it together. Hey, Jack. Power's in the house. All right, Power, I got you. I don't know if you want to keep your screen on or not, but I'm putting you on.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Wow. I'm talking with the most knowledgeable auditor of the year.
That's right, buddy. And thank you for voting for me if you did. I don't know who voted or how they voted or how all that
Man,
was done, but
I wasn't even aware of Audit Palooza until I saw it being broadcasted live by Lana Patrick.
right, yeah, Lana, absolutely. Yes, John, the 11th Circuit. Um, so that's the Bridges and Dodson case, and with the case with the sheriff in Dothan, um, that case has been resolved. So you could check the docket and see the paperwork on that case.
Hey, you were giving quite a speech when you received your award.
Yeah, I did. I was the only one that really gave a speech, sorta. Um,
And I was thinking they were about to kick you off the stage.
Possibly, possibly. I
Mm.
can't help it. I'm passionate about what I do. So, unindoctrinated. Hello.
And
Um,
speaking of most knowledgeable, I think a close second would have been Lana Patrick.
absolutely, absolutely. She's got a great head on her shoulders.
Yeah.
But it's a tough field out there. There's a few good guys out there with a lot of knowledge. Right off the top of my head, Dan from Southeastern Pennsylvania Community Watch, a really smart guy. Um, James Madison Audit's really smart guy. Jeff Gray, obviously very smart guy. The Batuse, very smart guy. I mean, there's a lot of good people out there. It's a tough field, so I'm very appreciative that people voted for me. Um, so yeah, I mean, I love all the support that I've gotten over the years. I released a video today. You said you saw the video, gave the speech or whatever, but yeah, I'm very appreciative that I've been able to do this and do it for as long as I have. So
Are you aware if there were some Canadians, maybe Canadian auditors at the Audit Palooza?
I don't think I saw or talked to anybody that was from Canada that had made the trip down. I don't know if I got to talk to everybody though. So it's possible.
We're starting to have quite a sizable auditing community here in Canada, you know?
Absolutely, and as well as it should be in any free country, right? Because that's how you keep the country free, right? That's the checks and the balances, is the citizens holding the government accountable. Um, Fortunately, in some countries, that's just not the case, obviously. Um, but definitely in countries that propagandize that they're free countries. Oh, we're free here, and you can do what you want, and you can vote for your master, and you'll be free. So, but
There are one or two things, very interesting things I'd like to discuss tonight. The first thing is using other countries' case laws when you go to court. Now, if you're in the US, this is going to surprise you, but you can use Canadian case laws if you want. Um, you cannot impose them to the judge, but you can certainly use them to influence him. Did you know that?
I've never heard that specifically myself, but I do know obviously that we could take um, case laws from different circuits and different states and stuff and use them as persuasive. I've never actually heard or seen any cases that have used another country's
The
law.
the the principle the principle behind this is really simple. You know, it's called the common law for a reason because it's common to many different legal systems. So when you use another country's case law, the case law itself, it does not just decide something. Uh, the judges explain why they took this decision. So because the decision is explained, then you can easily uh, use other countries' case laws. And myself, in my many times, so many times I've been to court, I use U.S. case laws all the time, and the judges really appreciate it, and it's worked a lot of times. For example, I was in Occupy Quebec City back in 2011, And in 2013, I sued Quebec City because they expelled us from our encampment. And when I went to court, it was a small claims court against Quebec City. I used another small claims court from Boulder, Colorado, from Occupy Boulder, and the judge really appreciated that, and he mentioned the that case law in his judgment. It was really great.
Interesting.
So you could use Australian case laws or British case laws because those are in the common law, of course, and or any other country, really, as long as the case law is explained, the judge explains why he takes this decision or this decision. It's going to be it has a great likeliness to work. Uh, when you start with fundamental rights, when you compare them between Canada and the US, it's pretty much the same. You know, it's often worded quite the same way.
Right.
Freedom of the press is freedom of the press.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And obviously, the same British, colonies, um, and colonial government that you folks had there as well, for a long time under the British and the French. Um, so a lot of those same political ideologies, from that time period was going through both of our countries. As a matter of fact, one of the things I like to quote is the letter that the Continental Congress wrote to the inhabitants of Quebec in 1774.
Yeah, yeah, you mentioned that several times. But the
Right.
bottom line is, if you present, I don't know, a case from the Supreme Court of Canada to a U.S. judge, he's going to look at it very closely because it's the Supreme Court after all. And if it's a unanimous decision, it's even better, of course. So that would be nine Canadian judges from the highest court. You know, if they decide something on freedom of the press, that's going to influence the judge very deeply.
Right.
Hey, the other thing I wanted to mention tonight is one common mistake that I see from most auditors. Okay, it's the tax paying tax paying argument. It's something we've discussed, you and me, and also with Rights Crispy. I think you two are the ones who've tried to stop from using that argument. The argument is you will hear uh, auditors very often talk about I pay taxes. I'm a taxpayer. Therefore, I have the right to be here. Therefore, I have the right to do that. And this is a very bad argument because you don't get rights from paying taxes. You don't have the right to exercise rights because you pay taxes. Paying taxes is completely irrelevant. The Constitution does not say we, the taxpayers, it says we, the people. And some people, examples on demand, pay absolutely zero taxes, no taxes whatsoever. So they have exactly the same rights as taxpayers. So it's a bad argument. And when you when you want to educate the public or public servants, it's great, but you need to do it with correct arguments. And the tax paying argument, it's completely wrong.
Well, and here's the thing, and we, again, like you said, we've talked about this before, and there's agreement on a lot of levels, but there's also some nuances there that we have to look at, right? So
Right.
all the rights in the Constitution, or in American case law isn't available to anybody, right? We the people doesn't mean we the world, right? It wasn't the Constitution wasn't written for the people in Germany, right? It wasn't written for the people in Australia. It was written for the people here in the United States. That's who we the people are as a legal entity, right? So if you come over here from Russia on vacation, you don't have the right to vote, right? Whether you pay taxes on your dinner or in your hotel room or not, right? Because
Right.
taxpayers are people that pay taxes here, regardless of, people would like to assume that when somebody says I'm a taxpayer, that means they're talking about income tax. But even like, let's say you, Power, let's say you drive across the border for a day trip, right? You stop and you get gas. Guess what, buddy? You're a taxpayer. Yes, you
Yes
are.
and no.
Yes, you.
Yes and no.
Yes, you are.
Yes and
No,
no.
you paid gas. You paid tax on that gas, so
I've
you're a
paid tax on that
taxpayer.
gas. However,
So
uh,
even
I've had
homeless bums pay taxes on their booze, right?
exactly,
Is
but
that
as I said,
okay? So we're all
there are a
taxpayers.
few cases. There are a few cases of people paying absolutely no taxes, and I can
No,
name you one.
everybody. Well, name one person that runs around naked.
Uh, well, okay, so there was my friend Richard, and we went for an audit in Vermont. He had never been to the United States, and he opted on with me, and we went to the closest post office, and we did an audit there. It was his first audit. He had never been in the U.S., never paid any tax to any U.S. government, and well, he had the same right as any U.S. taxpayer to do his audit. And I mean, that's a real proof that it's not
Well, I
about
ca-
paying
well,
taxes.
well
Although
I can agree with that.
I admit that it will. Uh, it's certainly if you say a taxpayer, I'm a taxpayer, I have the right to do that. It probably encompasses almost everybody. Although because there are exceptions, it's the proof that the tax paying argument is not valid.
Well, right, but hey, let me give you an example. Like you have a stronger argument to have a right to be in a building if you've actually paid taxes, right? Like
No, I
I
don't
have
agree.
you do I have a stronger right to be in my local city hall than somebody over here from Russia on vacation?
No, no,
I don't. I don't have any more of a right than somebody here on vacation from another
no.
country.
Oh, absolutely not. And now we're getting into the citizenship argument. That would be completely a similar story. But if we stick to the tax paying argument, I don't see why, because the law applies equally to everybody. Uh, Let me give you another example. Let's talk about baby Jessica. She was born 30 minutes ago. Okay, she's a U.S. citizen. She has certainly never paid taxes, and she has exactly the same rights as everybody. Basically, what I'm
I,
saying is
I
that
don't know about baby Jessica. How is she a United States citizen? Was she born here in the United States?
yeah, it's an example of a baby born 30 minutes ago in the U.S.
Oh, okay. So right. So in citizenship, you have two ways of citizenship. You can do it by the allegiance that your parents are sworn to, or here in America, which isn't in every country, but if you're born on American soil, you're an American citizen automatically. It doesn't matter where your parents are from or anything of that nature. So,
And
so just because a American citizen by nature of being born in here on our soil. Now, if her parents were American, and let's say she was on her mother was on a cruise, and she had stopped in a port in Milan, Italy, Um, Even though she was born in Italy, because her parents are American citizens, she gets that American citizenship by birth because her parents are American citizens.
No, I'm talking about a full red-blooded baby whose parents are both Americans, and they're born in she's born in America from American parents. Okay, so
Right.
she's never paid any taxes, and she has exactly the same rights as any other taxpayer. She owns an equal part of public property, and if she could talk, she could make a FOIA request. So
Well, right,
that
because that's the whole thing with citizenship and domicile is that the reason domicile was created was because Roman citizens wanted to pass on the rights that they had acquired to their children. And so that's where the legal doctrine of domicile came from, was tying a person to a place in order to tie those rights to them as well as obligations, of course. So, um, you know, they didn't want their children to have to fight for the rights that they had already fought and acquired. So, and the same thing goes here in America. Absolutely, a baby born in America has rights just like any other American citizen by nature of being born as an American citizen, not paying taxes or not doing anything of that nature. But and again, some of our rights in America do apply to people that come to visit here, foreign people or whatever. But that's not indicative of all the rights, right? Because again, you can't come over here on vacation from Canada and vote. People from Russia can't come over here on vacation and vote, right? But American
the
citizens have the right to vote, right?
of course the only right that you get as a citizen compared to a non-citizen, it's about voting. That's about the only thing that you get. Non-citizens have just about the same rights as citizens in the US. But basically, what I'm saying is that the tax-paying argument is wrong. That all you need is to be a person. How hard is it to use the argument that you need to be a person? I'm a person, therefore I can be here. Therefore I can do that. You don't need to be a taxpayer. You know.
Right. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. And
in this day and age, in this age of inclusivity, isn't isn't it better to just promote the personhood instead of the tax paying status of the person? Because let me tell you something, if you get into the tax paying argument, then there's a very big risk that you can run into. That's that would be that people who pay more taxes than others have more rights. That's the risk.
well, I don't think it's ever been that. Although, I mean, I'm sure both of us will agree that obviously the people with more money are getting more of the benefits of government. I mean, that's again, I think that's human nature, isn't it? Like that's happened in every society known to man and every kind of government known to man. I mean, even in a communist government, the rich industrial, Russian guy is having lunch with Putin more often than the guy that works as the cobbler or the the
That
baker.
that's the reality, but that's not ideal. That's far from ideal.
Well, of course, it's far from ideal, but I mean, again, it's you could say it's almost human nature. Like this stuff isn't new, right? This class warfare, this isn't new, right? It's been going on from since the dawn of time, since people started collecting money. It's been going on, right?
Right.
Uh, so, I mean, this is obviously something that we shouldn't be shocked that it's going on here today, right? We shouldn't be shocked that if you have money, you can buy justice, right? Or if you have money, you can buy, pretty much whatever you want. You can buy kidneys, You could buy,
or
favors from doctors and,
or
favors
if
from
you're
politicians.
the U.S. president, you get total immunity.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. And the same thing goes for like the King of England, the Queen of
Yeah.
England or whatever. Heads of state like that always have total immunity, and the same goes for even the senators. While they're in session, they can't be charged with a crime while Congress is in session. So,
Now,
I
of
mean,
course, I was referring to the recent decision of the U.S. Supreme Court to grant uh, almost total immunity to presidents. That's completely crazy, man. I mean, your country was created to run away from a tyrant back in England, and now you're going to have a head of state who has the exact same immunity. That's that's really that's really surprising.
um, absolutely. And Claudette has a question: by favors from doctors, how? Um, all kinds of ways, right? Like, let's say you got a son. Let's say I got a son, and he needs a kidney transplant, right? And I need to get moved up on the list, and there's a doctor that takes care of the list or does whatever, have you not. And let's say the doctor has a daughter that wants to go to an expensive college, Harvard, and I just happen to be alumni there. I'm a rich, successful guy, and I'm a Harvard alumni, and so his daughter wants to go to Harvard, and she needs the money, and I need a kidney for my kids. So I tell the doctor, hey, I'll pay for your daughter's, college tuition. I'll get her into Harvard. If you give my son a kidney, get him on the list, you get him a kidney next week. Boom, bang, bam. There you have it. Done. Um, I don't know if that's a real example. I didn't take one out of the news or anything like that, but you can imagine stuff like that happens. I'm not obviously going to say on a daily basis, but I'm sure something like that has happened before in the past and probably will in the future.
Well,
I got
yeah.
my neighbors in the house.
Well, personally, I think I've taken enough of everybody's time. Uh, oh, Rice Krispies here. Okay.
Yeah,
It's Rice
let's.
Krispie.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
Hello,
I'm gonna drop out
anybody hear me?
and leave a chance for other people. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I see. I got a couple of my boys in the chat, Auditing County and Rights Crispy, and ain't none of them coming up to say, hey, for those of you that didn't know, Auditing County won Auditor of the Year. So congrats to him on that. He's been putting in a lot of hard work. Loving his videos. Always a good time. We went out for Audit Palooza as well. We did a couple of audits together. Always have fun with that guy, man, when we go out. Always have a good time.
So, hey,
Friend,
man,
Hey,
congratulations and congratulations again on the award. Okay.
thanks, buddy.
All right. See ya.
See you, man.
hello, Rogue. Check, check, check.
What's up, Jason? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing good. Glad to see you had an open panel. I just wanted to share some observations that I've made here recently. Um, we've all wondered why when you see one police officer on a stop, then you see about the rest of the department show up.
Right.
And I had a theory that, um, or a hypothesis that the reason for that being is if they can show up on a stop where, somebody's getting a ticket and hang out there, they're kind of avoiding the more dangerous criminals. I think that is true, but I've come to realize there's another part to that um, if a officer, now they say they don't have quotas, for ticketing, and that's probably true. But they do have quotas at their departments of how many stops they should make a day, where they write tickets or not. And if they hang out and assist on another stop or crime scene or something like that for 4 hours, which is half their shift, then they have to make half the number of stops they would normally for that day.
Okay, so the longer they hang out at other stops, the less work they have to do.
Right. So if they're, there for half their shift, then they're excused. Say, like here in Tennessee, I heard a state trooper
They'll do
say they're
that.
required to make
They'll sit around in a
20
circle,
stops a day.
like 8 unnecessary cops at a scene, just circle jerking. They do
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And I thought they were just avoiding the more dangerous criminals and stuff like
No,
that. And,
taxpayer dollars.
officer safety, hang out with the grandma that's getting abused instead of, chasing down the real criminals. So I think it's probably a combination of both.
Bet you half of those guys in that circle jerk are getting overtime.
Right.
They ended a half hour before the incident that they created themselves, so they're waiting around.
That's the bonus, You either cut your quota in half or you're getting overtime.
That happens, y'all. I'm not even being hyperbolic, right?
Mm-mm.
Sure.
Friends
I'm not
in
taking
Code.
it as hyperbolic.
Which Friends in Code is this? The
It's the bearded bastard one.
What's up, man?
What's up, brother? How are you? What's up,
Good,
Rob?
man. Happy to be here with
Yeah,
Rogue
good to
Nation,
see
my
you, buddy.
neighbor. What's up, man?
What's
I
up,
was just-
Mr. Crispy? Go
That
ahead.
was a cool video. And I got to say, my only gripe about Audit Palooza is that only you and what's that one dude's name?
Swamp Fox?
No. He's a Chilean too. He's a nice guy. Starts with a B. Gosh, I'll tell you right now. You were the only two guys who actually talked about First Amendment audits up on stage and actually made it a convention other than a party,
Mm.
That's my
Yeah.
only gripe about that place is it was a fun time, but it was more of a party. And Rogue Nation put out a video. You guys got to watch it if you didn't already. It came out earlier tonight. When he received his award for the most knowledgeable, he laid down the knowledge. It's fine.
Yep.
That's fine.
It's fine.
Well, maybe the Audit Palooza stuff can get a little more organized as far as I remember being on John Felix's channel, in the chat when they were choosing the categories for the awards. And I was kind of insistent that there be a female auditor of the year. And they still kind of had that, but they changed it to bad bitch, which yeah, that's fun and all that stuff, but it should have been kept as female auditor of the year, a little more respectful.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I can agree
Best
with that
man
as well.
won. I'm just kidding.
But at least they recognize the female, and J Town's awesome, so she's very deserving.
Yeah, who all did the voting for all that?
It was just whoever was in the chat that night. John just kind of started on there, and at one point they almost were going to have whoever was in the chat that particular night vote for the winners. And I'm not sure if they did that or not.
Such a hard thing because some people don't even know of certain channels, like
who's
Reba,
Rogue Nation? I mean,
51550.
Yeah, there you go. That's actually a good
badass
one right there.
bitch right there.
Laura Sharp.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some I don't know.
Even Peanut, remember Peanut 411?
Yeah.
Even she got into some dude's face to defend Wolfie one time. That's a badass bitch. Some people might have different opinions, but I saw that with my own eyes. There's no denying it.
It's a completely different experience when you get it firsthand.
Yeah, but I think that's I think they were going more for like the last year, you know. Um,
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to pull a Kanye West moment.
yeah, right.
I was
Right.
just saying honorable mentions,
Right. No,
And
absolutely.
I'm not definitely inviting myself to actually try to run one next year. So,
Do it.
no,
they had
man,
the
I'm good.
best
No,
new auditor and OG auditors. They were mixing it up a little bit.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Of course, you
Um,
can't have too many awards at those things because maybe the night would have been a little more. I don't know what like rights is saying, a little more legit if there were more awards. To drag that out longer and be a little more formal and. As long as you got somebody that's going to donate 40 awards, we can come up with the names for them.
The only other gripe I had was that there was nobody like runner up that could receive the award since there weren't names inscribed in them if the original recipient wasn't there that night, which a lot of them were. Best presentation went to Lackluster, I guess. Is that right?
I think
I
you're
Yep.
right.
think you're right.
But I
Yep.
think Lackluster, and I haven't even talked to him about this channel, but I think he would agree with me that the best presentation goes to Forensic Media. Have you guys watched that guy's
Mm.
channel?
No.
That's actually yeah. I actually
You
have
feel
seen
me?
Forensic Media, and that's
He's
a damn
excellent.
good channel. Yeah,
He's
I would agree
excellent.
with you on that one.
Maybe
Nobody has
yeah,
ever presented a police interaction better than he has on all his channel, on all his videos. I think he has like 8 videos, and they're all perfect. And he said that he's not going to churn them out. When he first contacted me over a year ago, he said, I'm going to take my time on each episode, and they're going to be good episodes. And he did it. Check him out.
Farina did a good one. Susan Bassey.
Yeah.
Oh, Susan Bassey is a badass bitch for sure.
Yeah,
And I
you're right.
mentioned her the other day when I was talking about this. Like, yeah, again, honorable mention, Susan Bassey.
Yeah, she was nominated for Female Auditor of the Year.
Piner
Yeah,
in Florida, best
Yep.
supporting actress by far. Like Sally Field,
For real.
they love me. They really love me. We do Piner in Florida.
For real.
If y'all don't know who she is, Rogue, tell them.
I told them.
All right. It's like get to talking too much, man.
The truth is so funny, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
Oh my
Piner
gosh.
is literally the best. She really is. She's just a workhorse, really, when it comes to public records and to tracking stuff down. And we've all had things that have happened to us in life that have made us reevaluate what the government's told us and what we consider to be true and false and she's had some stuff happen to her and I gotta say God bless her. She's just a great soul.
I'll be blunt. And her brother was left to die. The paramedics didn't render life-saving aid. They falsely claimed that rigor mortis had already set in like 15 minutes.
Wow.
And that's bullshit. And she wants us to not just focus on the government and the cops, but also the EMTs who are first responders who don't get looked at. They're just like, oh, they're heroes. They're heroes. They're all heroes. Firefighters and EMTs, they're all heroes. Guess what? There are a few bad apples in that situation.
Yep.
It's not like the spoiled bunch in the cops, but there are a few bad apples there.
A lot of
Right.
times they do what the cops tell them to do. Oh, he's okay. Like the cop's a doctor.
Right. That too. Yeah.
Well, you guys saw that one a while ago where the guy with the lady with the pan of water, and he was like, "Oh, just leave her, leave her."
Yeah.
Remember that one?
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know if they were in the right house. So the lady had a pan of water, and the guy shot her in the face, and he was like,
Oh,
"Oh, just
yeah.
leave her."
I
You
rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, you've seen that one, right?
Oh,
Where
yes,
the
I
lady.
did see that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just disgusting.
He murdered that woman, yeah.
Oh
It
yeah,
was, yeah. And it wasn't she the one that had called him?
Yep.
yeah.
Like,
Something
yeah.
was her kid or something happened.
I think the police had been there earlier that day because they took her to the hospital. So in the video, she said, "Well, let me show you my papers. Let me show you my papers." And that was from the earlier hospital visit because they came and took her away from her parents' house because they were kind of done with her and she was off her medication. And so they took her back home. And it was later that night that the cops showed up again. It was almost like they
Yeah.
were walking around her house,
She had
making
mental
it look
illness.
like they were doing something.
Yeah, and you don't send a armed thug to a mental health crisis. You're right. But you know what? That's another thing is that was one of the first incidents in what I've noticed to be a rash of incidents that have happened recently where the reporting party, RP, the person who's calling for help, gets turned on by the police. They show up and end up either killing him or arresting him. The
Yeah,
person who called.
Me and Wrights I just released the video, but Wrights was with me when I went to talk
Eustace.
with that lady, yeah, in Eustis, where she called to report the suspicious people in her neighborhood. I mean, actual suspicious people, not people with a camera walking down the street, but actual suspicious people. She called to report on them, and the cop goes there and freaks out because she's open carrying on her own property. I mean,
Yeah. He
you
Yeah,
know
was
what I
he was
mean?
not listening to a word she said.
Hell
He was
no, he
just like
wasn't.
hyper concerned about her lawful right and that he despises, even though he's supposed to uphold it. What's up, Big G? And yes, constitutional freedom fighter. There are so many deserving people. We can't give out 100 awards, but we can make 100 honorable mentions.
Yeah, speaking of honorable mention, I want to throw Taya Graham and Stephen Janis into that.
Taya Graham and Stephen Janis is the Police Accountability Report / the
Real News Network.
the Real
Yep.
News Network. That's right. They do a
You
lot
know,
of good work.
Yeah, I love the stuff that Taya and them do over there.
I just saw
yeah.
Noli D
Noli D,
post a
yeah.
picture.
One
Did you
man in
guys see
Japan.
the video that the civil rights lawyer released tonight with the autistic kid whose father he was 72 years old and didn't speak any English, and they had the autistic.
Oh, his kid
Uh,
got tased.
Oh
yeah,
man.
and the father got knocked out, which set off the autistic kid, and they just went over
Yeah.
and snatched him right out of the car.
You know, I
Yeah,
have a video on my channel that is similar to that. And, that's, I think, 40% of the police calls, it's just like domestic violence. Like, if you have special needs and the police are called on you, 40% like get killed. Like,
Damn.
they either get beat up, arrested, or killed. It's one of those.
It's not supposed to be that way.
No. Big
And
G.
those are the videos that upset me the most because it's like in the comments of the civil rights lawyer, I said, well, I wonder what a jury would say if somebody walked up and put a pew pew next to that officer's head and spread his thoughts all over the parking lot at that moment, which a few videos make me feel that way. And it's scary, because I'm not a violent person, but to see somebody injured and mistreated that way just fumes me. I'll just get so angry.
Yeah,
We know how
without
you
any
feel.
thought, without any
The
thought of it.
What's that?
Well, without any thought, like these guys, they just run around and commit violence with impunity.
Right.
Automaton.
Yeah,
I thought
just
monopolies were illegal in the United States.
not on force,
Oh, okay.
not
Or
on force.
They're trying.
Yeah, they've got the monopoly on force. It's just like the whole bumping into an officer, battery on LEO, and they literally can just put their hands on us at any time they want, and it's totally fine. And
For any reason.
the complaints aren't founded, and obviously their butt buddy's not gonna take a report on them for a battery. You know what I mean? Like
Nope.
it's
But
it's
let's say
crazy.
that you're pissed off and you get your records and you throw the CD and it hits the cop on the boot from like 10 feet away. That's
still
it.
assault.
You're facing a felony.
Yeah.
Like Jesse in Gulfport.
Yeah. Don't sneeze on the motherfucker either.
Or fart near him.
No. Forget what this is. Fart
no
near them
bodily.
at every opportunity. Fart away. That's like the best thing you could do to help us. Fart on your nearest officer. Go fart by them.
They'll arrest you.
They're gonna.
Go crop dust them while they're eating donuts.
Tell them, can you call an ambulance? I'm having a fart attack.
Oh shit! The fiber's kicking. Big burrito ain't helping it.
Calling Officer Sharp.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, like Jim Carrey and Ace
Right.
Ventura.
You have a breath mint?
Yeah.
We need more likes. Slap the like button, yo.
Oh yeah, slap it up.
Let me ask you one question. Ask you.
I'll tell you guys another auditor that I really like as far as, he reminds me of Rogue and Bay Area Transparency is that guy Steve from I Am Free Inland.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I watch him every day.
His videos are
He's
so
a smart
organized.
individual with good follow-up.
Yeah.
I've
He's
had
good
him on
person.
my channel. We've done a panel. We did a discussion, me and him, on Poster 7 and the post office regulations, which I was thinking I was gonna have to do another one because the thing about it is if we're out here making the wrong arguments or not using the right arguments, then shit can go sideways quick.
Oh yeah.
In the court or on the street. So
Yeah.
You're
quoting laws from a different judicial district or appeals district, like the first when you're in the 10th. Don't say Glick versus Cuniff. You got to say Irizarry versus Yahia. And this is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer.
Right, and that's binding in that district for that district, but more what I'm along the lines of what I'm talking about is when you're explaining this to the people, like especially in the post office, the Poster 7. I just watched a video where Lana and Russell, GT Transparency, were in a post office in South Carolina. I'm sure I've done the post office. I'm pretty sure I've done that post office. I don't want to say for sure, but I've done a lot of post offices in South Carolina regardless. But there was a postal inspector there, and he kept getting hung up on the for public meetings part of the damn Poster 7. And
can I interrupt real quick? I'm sorry. I always do that. I'm interrupting. It's just that it's the best way to prove this is like when they get hung up on that 4th or 5th paragraph or sentence or whatever, go back to the beginning. What does it start off with? Photography is allowed in these areas. It's like, why do you think they would start off with that if you're going to try to limit it on the fourth paragraph? They start off with it's allowed. But go on.
Yeah, they
Well,
do that
right.
with all the laws.
Well, because of the way it reads, if you read it incorrectly,
Without a comma, yeah. Yeah,
well,
I
well,
can't
no,
believe they don't know what a comma is.
well, right, not even with the comma. What this guy's issue is that he applied the public meeting part of it to all the locations listed before it, right? So the way it reads is that photograph is permitted in the lobbies, entrances, foyers, or auditoriums when used for public meetings, right?
Period. Period.
Right, period. So he was using that when used for public meetings for every location,
Yeah.
auditoriums, lobbies, foyers, entrances, right? And a lot of the trolls do the same thing. And what's in there is that word or, right? Because that
Yeah.
or is an alternative, right? It's either or. So it's like saying you can, um, hey, Brad. It's like saying, you can either uh, run in the front yard or you could swim in the backyard. It doesn't mean that you can run in the backyard, right? That sentence means
Or swim in the front yard.
you can either run in the front yard or you could swim in the backyard, right? Doesn't mean you could swim in the front yard and run in the backyard.
Well, cops are dumb. That explains it. And they're not. We can't get them to understand laws, let alone case law.
Not just. Did you see my last video? It's a lawyer. Lawyers don't get it.
Right.
Well, right, because
Again, Rogue was so fed up. He's like, "Hold on, let me go get a cop to teach this lawyer the law." Exactly.
That's what I thought was so great about I Am Free's video, and he was very prepared in that post office where he went in. He had a letter from the postmaster for the Western District from Utah that specifically said he had permission to be in the post office.
Oh, that's not good enough.
Convinced those officers of that, he was like, and by the way, you don't have an interloping agreement with the police department here, and officers, if I can't bring my firearm in here, you can't bring yours either.
Yeah, that's a memorandum of understanding that most police stations have with most post offices. But they're like, what is it, 47 or something like that in the country that don't have it? Rogue?
No, there's I believe it's 62 or 69 post offices which are known as federal enclaves, and those specifically have to have the memorandum of understanding with the local police department.
And the rest don't have it.
Right. The rest of the post offices before 1940, the ones built before 1940, the federal government has exclusive jurisdiction on. The post offices built after, which are a lot of them, have concurrent jurisdiction, but the concurrent jurisdiction only means that the police are allowed to come there and to detain a citizen, arrest them, but only for the charges listed in the CFR here that we have pictured on the screen, the poster 7. So
they can't get you for disorderly or something like that.
Right, because there's no gap in the federal law for any activity that we as auditors would be engaged in the post office, right? So the CFR has.
Is this the one you're talking about?
Does it say murder? Because I'm sure the police could come in and, if there's an act of murder going on, they're probably allowed, or I've heard it called if there's a felony. And in progress
Well-
and stuff like that is a extenuating circumstance.
You know, John DeNicola is in the chat, and he sent us recently what we already had, but he sent it to us again. Was the stand-up talk, right?
Yeah, right. And I'm not sure if this is the memorandum itself right there or not.
This is not the stand-up talk, no, but the
No,
stand-up
neither one of
talk
them.
was like something that they sent out to all the post offices, like, "Hey, it's their right. Leave them alone. Just report it. Don't bother them. Don't engage."
Stand
Yeah, I
up.
mean,
the memo that was leaked.
Why would
I've
they
got
put that out if it's not your right? Why wouldn't they be like, if you see these guys, report them right away, have them arrested? You know,
Some
fucking
places
idiots.
they
I don't
take your
get it.
picture and
It's
put your
like,
picture on the wall, and they're like, if you see this guy, so
Yeah.
they're automatically starting things right off the bat.
that's where you would go back in the day for wanted posters, is the post office.
Yeah, they
If
used to
we
put
were
them right on
doing
the wall.
something wrong,
They
we
still
would
do
get
it
caught
now.
right away as soon as we walked in.
Right.
Just that these trolls that like are just so narrow-minded and angry at something in themselves are so fixated on just like, no, you're doing it wrong and that's it, you're wrong, you're gonna go to jail someday and I'm gonna fucking wet my pants when it happens.
Dan Erie County the other day was in a post office, I think yesterday or the day before, and he found a poster 7. He literally took a video of himself measuring how far off the ground it was. It was 8.5 feet in the air on the wall. The
I saw
poster
that.
7. 8.5 feet.
Was
from
that
the
it
floor.
here in Florida? Because we saw one that was super high too. With him, remember that, bro?
yeah.
Yeah, we were like,
8.5 feet. Yeah.
why
I
is it
mean,
all the way up there?
I brought my telescope with me to read it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's what I was thinking. I said 8.5 feet. How does anybody even know how to read it? You never see it because it's not in front of you. That's why
One the other day, it was from 1995.
Dan takes a
At a
tape
certain
measure
point,
out.
you just got to say, "I'm glad it's something's there, huh?"
Hey, Leslie, I'm sorry if I'm making too much noise. Leslie Sylvan is in the chat, but she is also in the other room here, staying with us while her Hobbit mobile gets worked on at the Mercedes dealership.
Hobbit mobile.
Yeah, if y'all don't know, her Hobbit mobile is a Mercedes Sprinter van.
Oh, it's like a conversion.
Yeah, it was converted by Bao, Clash with Bao. It was sold to her by Kevin, the Angry Vet.
Oh,
And Leslie sold her house in Massachusetts and decided to travel the country visiting her favorite channels. And
oh,
I call her our Athena. And
I would agree with
as
Athena.
Piner in Florida is a supporter, so is Leslie. They both have been just stalwart supporters. Piner in Florida always gets the records with her Southern charm. Leslie Sylvan always motivates us with her fervor and her passion.
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Hey,
All right,
Excalibur.
guys. So, yeah, Excalibur, we got to meet him. I met him before, but we got to hang out again at Audit Palooza. But right now, I got the mandatory stand-up talk here pulled up that Wrights was talking about. And this is a stand-up talk, and it's similar to the one that the post office released in 2018. So it seems every couple of years they have to release these stand-up talks in order to get people focused again. Because people read something like this, a couple weeks, couple months go by, and they've already forgotten about it. So
if they even read it in the first place.
If they've even read it in the first place, right? Now, I printed a copy of this out, and I take it with me usually to the post offices, and I'll specifically go up and ask them, "Have you guys received this training? Have you seen this memo?" And I've gotten a lot of positive results about it. So, but
That's
I'm going
surprising
kind of
because
slow,
most of the
so
videos I've
everybody
seen,
can check it out.
How many
it's
said yes?
surprising. Most of the people I've seen don't really want to, you say,
Let's take a look at your poster 7. Sir, you can't be here. Do you have a copy of the memo? Sir, you can't be here.
Most people don't know how to interact with the public.
Well, once
Right.
they convince their rights, that's it.
Have you guys? I heard this, saw this at the chat or something. I'm like, have you ever seen a private United States post office?
No. Well,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
You got to pay
There's
extra
one
for
in
that.
Oxford,
In Fort
Mississippi.
Pierce, in Fort Pierce, there is a deli where half of it is a post office.
Okay.
You get some Cuban sandwiches there, but you get your mail too. Yeah.
But
It's in
that
Fort
shouldn't
Pierce.
exempt them from being a public building.
As I say, wouldn't the presidents of the post office automatically make that at least the post office side public?
It's all in the restaurant. Like there's seating and everything, and then imagine if there was a gift shop in a restaurant. That's the post office part of it.
Well,
That
it's
is
like
weird.
a police station being in a mall. You know, that doesn't mean that, oh, well, now the police station is private.
No, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like that's the closest to a private one that I've seen. You know.
Well, I did a little research and it found that the private post office is so you could get a post office box and actually use the address of the post office as a permanent resident address, is what they're trying to do.
Hmm.
And, you know, because most banks for loans and stuff like that don't allow post office boxes as your, you know, they want a physical address. So that's getting around that. But I'm going to have to research it some more.
No, I've actually heard that as well. Using it as a permanent address. So there's probably something to that. As far as that
If you're
goes.
homeless, I could see the advantages.
What's that?
If you're homeless and you need a permanent address, you know, that's one way that you can get a permanent address accepted. You know, if you've actually got a street address.
Right. You can also send stuff to the post office like general delivery. So like I remember when I was reading up on hiking the Appalachia Trail that they were saying that you could mail stuff to post offices along the route, so that way you could resupply.
I'm pretty sure that you can have things delivered to a post office pretty much anywhere, and if you can just go there and get it, I don't think they care. I think they go by your information.
Yeah, you have a choice, either general delivery or to your house, or a
I don't think that's the issue with having the address. It's getting services. You need an address to apply for services, not just to get packages, because you could do that with Amazon at any Amazon pickup location. You know.
Yeah, they used to allow you to get.
I know that
if you had a PO box. And that's gone.
Shout out to Liberty Freak and Eric Brandt. They both championed for unhoused people and got them an address at a shelter where they could use that address. But that got them both put on a list, which now everybody's on a fucking list. But back in the day, they were one of the first ones put on a fucking list because of that. Getting that address from that shelter for those unhoused people to use so they could get services.
Yeah, well, if you don't have an address, you can't pretty much do anything anyway.
Right.
So you gotta, if you're homeless, the first thing you would need is an address because you can't do anything else.
Yep.
Can't apply for anything. You can't get a license. You can't get permits. You can't anything. What are you gonna
Where
do?
would you all go if you were, God forbid?
Oh, I go out in the woods. I'd be like a squirrel man. I'd be wearing a squirrel suit.
In the woods?
I would never starve.
Like Nebraska?
Poland.
Some, I don't know.
You'd go to Europe and go to Poland, friends and code.
They
Free
seem to
healthcare.
be. They seem to be better at it than Trump, anyway.
Anyone else have any ideas what they would do if they were homeless? Because Rogue and I were talking about this the other day, and we both agreed we'd go to the beach.
I'll go to a warm place. You know, that's,
Yeah. Fuck
I mean-
the pissy smelled sewers of New York City.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't. You die in.
Why would you be there? And if you're watching this and you are unhoused in the big city, in the Big Apple, pull up your roots, however many they are, and move it down south. A lot of people here in Florida would tell me to shut up, but I'm saying you have beautiful beaches here, and each one of those beaches has showers.
Yeah, but if you're homeless, how are you going to scrape together the cash to get down to Florida?
Did you ever watch Forrest Gump?
You know, every time I tried to watch Forrest Gump, something interfered with it. So I've actually never seen the fucking movie.
Oh,
He
wow.
ran.
You don't need money.
Yeah,
Just run.
He ran. He ran.
He ran across the country a couple times.
But seriously,
Back
you
and
could.
forth.
Yeah, you could take the Appalachian Trail down and eat. Forage in the wild. You know, you could set little snares and stuff for squirrel or something. I mean, possum.
That's if you have outdoor skills. Not everybody does.
And if you don't,
Well,
then what are you doing in the middle of New York, one of the most hostile areas?
It's a super dangerous place.
yeah,
It's
no.
more
Listen,
dangerous than the woods that offer you food on the floor.
You could just go to the water and fish.
absolutely.
That'll keep you alive.
Yeah.
Keep you
But
alive
you
for a
don't
while.
end up homeless because you're thinking straight either, you know?
I have no idea what they do for homeless people here. I have seen homeless, but not in any sort of numbers. Used to be one guy that had posted up underneath like the train tracks. It was like the train passed over the street in Akihabara, and he was just always there. I had this old folding chair, and one day I just walked it on. I took it on the train down to him. I'm like, here you go, man. Here's a folding chair, somewhere to sit instead of just sitting on the ground. And I'm not sure he ever used it because I think the next time I walked by, I think it was like propped up against the wall or some shit. Like,
Made a backpack out of it immediately.
I just learned about Akihabara Station. It's a lively place.
Yeah, but it's geek central, but it's also one of the best places to find electronics. And if you are the kind of person who wants to build your own computer from basically scratch, it's the place to go.
I've done that twice. I don't know how to do it. My friends video called me both times. But yeah, I've done that twice. I built 2 computers.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they sell like even the small components to build electronic stuff. So
Nice.
if you were into building just any sort of electronic devices, or if you're in the market to buy them, new or used, Akiba is one of the best places to go in the country.
Akihabara equals Radio Shack.
Yep.
Well, but also
steroids.
Yeah. But also, that's where you also find a lot of the used game stores, a lot of your manga joints, your maid cafes, and the things that are similar to maid cafes, like the military cafes, the ninja cafes, the witch cafes, or whatever. Just so basically, hot young women standing around on the street wearing fairly revealing clothing, trying to get you to come to their place, their place of business.
Karaoke.
Yeah, no, but Akiba's the only problem with Akiba, and I hate to say this, but it is just lousy with tourists. I swear to God, man, it's hard to get anywhere because they're just all wandering around gawking at shit.
That, or you got people walking up to you constantly everywhere you go. My friend was in Thailand, and he said every day he walked out the hotel that he was at, he said, I would have at least 5 people. He said, if I took a cigarette out and just stood there and didn't move, I would have at least 5 people walk up to me in the first 5 minutes of me smoking a cigarette every day.
Don't be that guy, man. You moved there as a tourist. Now you live there. Don't be like, oh, gosh, these
I've never-
tourists.
Man, it's been 10
It's like,
fucking years.
I see New Yorkers move to Florida and then act like that with fellow New Yorkers that moved 2 years after them.
Hey man, I've been here 10 years now. I get to talk shit on tourists.
You can. That's 10 years. You got tenure. You're right.
I used
No,
to.
in Akiba though, people aren't going to walk up to you randomly because they've got their own shit to do.
Yeah.
I used to love it when I used to see this guy from a while ago. I'm not going to say his name. He used to go and stand in front of the retirement places and say, "Snowbirds go home." Forget his name.
Are you familiar with the term carpetbagger?
We got a couple
yeah.
of those in West Virginia running for office.
I knew
Seriously,
you would, bro.
We got carpetbaggers running for office this election season.
Damn.
I'm like, obviously so.
Yeah.
Do you guys? Here's a question. Do you guys know the only southern state that wasn't put under Reconstruction?
No.
Anybody?
I don't know.
Missouri?
What do you mean by Reconstruction?
My history's bad.
Missouri?
After the Civil War, the South was put under Reconstruction.
Was it Missouri?
I mean, West Virginia is probably one of the only ones because we're technically South, even though we were part of the North.
It was Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Do you guys know why that was the only state not put under Reconstruction?
Because
we
it
were the
ratified
last.
the 14th
They
Amendment.
said no.
Right.
Because we were the last to leave join the Confederacy and the first to join back.
No. Because
Because
they
they
were the
ratified the
first to
14th
ratify the 14th Amendment. Yep, that's right, right.
Yeah, in that state, right?
Right. So the federal government strong-armed the states into ratifying the 14th Amendment, the southern states.
And they were like, "Nope."
And that's why Reconstruction happened, and you got the carpetbaggers down here. And once they ratified the 14th Amendment, they were accepted back into the Union, and
They allowed
Set
African
back
American men the right to vote and restricted former Confederate officials.
You guys know how West Virginia became a state?
No.
Virginia was like, "Ew, don't touch me."
No, basically, before the Civil War, Virginia was pretty much the people who lived with the plantations and on the coast, and then there were those guys that lived in the mountains. I mean, they were part of Virginia, but they weren't really. They were like, yeah, they're part of the state.
Hillbillies.
Think about them. Yeah. Well, when the South was seceding during the Civil War, the people in the western part of the state did not agree with the whole slavery thing, and they said, we would like to basically break off of Virginia and become our own state. The problem is that the rules for basically creating a state from within the state is you have to have permission from the state government. So Virginia seceded from the Union, and the government in the western part of the state immediately said, we are now the new government of Virginia, and we give ourselves permission to break off and form a new state. And Abraham Lincoln was like, you know what? It's unfortunate it came to that, but I mean, I can't fault how you did it.
And now they're the poorest state of the Union.
and racist as fuck. It's really, it's been a big turnaround. I mean, they never had that much money.
I think that as far as poor and race, they battle back and forth with Mississippi.
Yeah. No. The thing is, though, they were never, I mean, the western part of the state was never rich. All the money was at the coast and the plantations. That hasn't changed.
You know in what year Mississippi abolished the abolition of slavery?
1972.
Take a wild guess.
I did, but it's not a real.
2001.
I attended a wedding there in 2013, the same year.
Wow.
In 2013, some senator was like, "Fine, give me the fucking pen." I'll begrudgingly signed it. Fine.
West Virginia has a lot of drug problems, and all their money that they ever got was all from natural resources, mining operation, basically. Tomatoes was the other one. Yep. So was it New Jersey? New Jersey was a big tomato producer.
New Jersey
not
and
familiar with
DuPont.
it.
Why do you
Soft
think
white
everybody came
underbelly.
out fucked up out of New Jersey? Because of DuPont. It's so chemically
Yep.
chemicaled up.
We had big incinerators growing up in Boston. They had Boston, the general metro area of Boston was surrounded at one point by 3 giant incinerators that would run constantly, 24 hours a day for like 30 years. And at one point in the 90s, they were going to shut them all down, and then they didn't. They said, "Oh, we'll shut them down." They shut them down for a year. Everybody that lived around there all
I'm
had
telling
high
you,
cancer rates.
everything wrong with me is because I was born in New Jersey.
Fucking Jersey boy.
I'm
We
from
get a
Jersey,
lot
I'm
of
from Jersey.
we get a lot of Jersey people going to WVU, and it's kind of made things a little worse in town. Not just the Jersey, we get a lot of people from out of state, and they show up and they bring because West Virginians, man, we don't really do the gang thing. At least not in Morgantown. We don't do the gang thing.
Some of those
But we get a lot
haulers
of
are rough, I tell you.
makes traffic shitty. The Jersey people drive aggressively. The Ohio people drive like shit.
Did you guys hear that cork?
Yeah.
Yes.
It sounded like you were pulling packing tape off of something. Man.
Here it goes back on. There we go. Here it goes back off.
I had a friend in high school told me, because Ohio people can't drive for shit. But I had a friend from high school who told me because he had family in Dayton, and he said he and his family went and visited some people in Dayton, and he's like, they all drive like that.
I did a lot of city driving. I worked for a leasing company. I used to drive to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Vermont, upstate New York City, all the airports. And oh man, I'll tell you, I can't believe that I lived in a major city for the majority of my life. I've been out of it for like 20 years. And then I have to go back to it. And I'm like, oh my God, get me out of this place.
I just saw Gio's in here. What's up, Gio, my bro? Hey, let me ask you guys, since this is a spooky stream open panel, what's the spookiest story you can think of that has happened to you? No bullshit.
Hey, I'm going to jump down in case anybody wants to jump up here. Y'all have a great Halloween. We're going to go play. I'm going to go play with some more bot stuff to see what we can pull out of databases.
Have a good one.
Yeah, friends and code. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Love you,
just sitting here playing. Same to you, brother. Much love.
Yeah, always, man. Thanks.
Hell yeah, bro. You know how it rolls. If you guys need any.
Excited, man. When I saw your partner, he said he's friends and code. I'm like, you're the guy you climbed out of the mountains in Colorado and come all the way over here? No. Pennsylvania. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
A lot of people just disregarded the S and the friends, right? I was the voice in the face for it. Is basically what it boiled down to, and there's a whole long story on it.
Yeah. Did anybody answer Claudette about BAT?
Thank you, friends in code again.
As far as I recall, man, doesn't he just post? From the last I saw, he would post like a bunch over the course of a few weeks, and then he would go dark for like 2-3 months.
Yeah, and I spoke to him recently. He's good.
Yeah, I heard somebody.
Don't worry about that, dude. That's like one dude you don't have to worry about. Like if the fire dies down, he's gonna be running around in the field while News Now California Phil is in a gyrocopter trying to drop grenades on him and shit to take what he had. Like those are 2 survivor dudes right there. One evil, one good.
What's the character he used to do all the time? No, you can't do that.
Yeah. Phil's gonna be there. Phil's gonna be at the end of the world, but he's gonna be like a roach at the end of the world.
It sounds like a band name or
he would like nod in agreement with me begrudgingly also. But Bay Area transparency, yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, I'd heard that he had lost one of his court cases, and I can't remember which department it was. And then his mom, he had lost his mom too, so that's kind of he was regrouping.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that,
I'll
was.
tell you about
He,
the court case.
he lost that Social Security case, is what it was. He had just one charge. It was the sign charge, the not obeying an official sign or security. So
some technicality.
Yeah, and he took a plea, which, hey, no hate, man. I totally get it. Get the fuck out of there with your liberty. Don't fall into that. Oh, I have to fight and expect justice from this corrupt justice system, and take it all the way to trial, and then get found guilty and serve the entire fucking time. You know what I mean?
Right. I'd rather be like Bow, and not show up for court for 7 years or however long it was, and call them every day and say, "Well, you've got a warrant out for me. Come and get me."
Well, every situation different and dynamic. If it's a stupid little misdemeanor, fuck that. If it's
Yeah.
a felony, fight for it, of course. But at no time should you expect actual justice. You should expect luck.
Sure. I believe that.
Either good or bad luck is going to happen.
Yep.
Don't say that. Rogue's on here.
Rogue has gone to trial, and man, it was traumatic for me. I can only imagine how it was for him. He's like, that's fine.
that's fine.
It's just
I mean, what's traumatic is people's understanding, people's level of knowledge. That's what's traumatic to me, more so than
That guy falling asleep on your jury. Jesus fucking Christ.
yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ.
just that level of disrespect. I mean, yeah, it's just it's incredible to me that people are satisfied. Like I don't, and again, maybe it's just me, but I'm like, to me, I'm thinking to myself, I gotta learn something. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
during the day, every day, I'm thinking to myself. Sometime during that day, I'm thinking I gotta learn something. I gotta hop online and learn how to do something, or you know, uh, be it whatever, be it a new recipe to cook. I like to cook, or my wife, she's doing a tree net. They call them, or a tree web, or tree net.
Oh, yeah. She was asking me about that. My
Yeah.
friend
So
stayed in one in between mountain peaks.
yeah. So
Yeah, they made a fucking net, like a big old mountain climbing rope web, all
cool.
straddled between some mountain peaks. And Rogue's wife is doing that with some trees in their backyard. They have a very heavily forested backyard now. It's cool as shit.
yeah.
We
It's
live in
gonna be awesome.
probably the coolest trailer park on earth.
Yeah, man.
Basically.
Well, I live in my mom's trailer park basement, bro. Get it right.
All right. It's your neighborhood. You ought to be able to crawl out there on the net too.
Yeah. When is the Rogue Cooks channel gonna start?
You guys want to hear a funny back and forth text that I had with Audit the Audit? I swear to God.
Yeah. What is it?
Check this out. Look it. Audit the Audit recently put out a video regarding Veda Mites, the old lady who was coming back from
Yeah.
doing groceries. We all saw that, right?
Yeah.
That was bullshit.
Right. So Monday, October 28th, when he put that out, I was like, hey man, Forensic Media broke the story about Veda, and he did an excellent job on it. Because he had not mentioned him at all. Right? He mentioned two other channels, which are good channels, whatever, but they did it afterwards. He goes, yeah, I'm aware of his coverage. I actually reached out to him to acquire the body camera, but I found the original on YouTube that was posted a month prior. I also contacted the original uploader for his permission to use the footage. I said, all right, right on. Thanks for the reply. He goes, anytime, man. Hope you're doing well. I said, we are, thank God. And now Rogue Nation moved in across the street. Our family's doubled overnight. Hope you're doing well too. He goes, that's awesome. That's one street I'm sure the cops are going to avoid at all costs. Haha. I said, we'll literally pull the invisible rope trick, LOL. And then he said, they'll never see it coming, literally, LOL. You know that invisible rope trick?
I used to do that shit with my friends.
Oh yeah, everybody.
Worked every fucking time.
You never know what's there. Leap of faith.
I've been meaning to read you that, Rogue. That happened the other day.
What happened the other day?
That text. Because I don't ever talk to that guy or text him or anything. I just, that one time that he did the horrible coverage on my cousins.
Yeah.
Is he the one that got into auditing because they were doing a raid next door and cops were ugly to him?
That was
No,
lackluster.
that's
Okay.
lackluster. This guy never set foot on the field either.
Does Audit the Audit do Here's the Deal too?
No, different guy.
No, that's Brian from High Impact Flicks.
Yeah.
I got everybody confused at the moment.
Yeah.
I miss Legal Dissent. That guy was solid. He gave credit where it was due, but I think he had health issues that slowed him down. And then he was like, yeah, I'll be coming back. And then boom, radio silence.
Yeah.
You know who I miss? Current Climate, who was a British channel from before I started. And he had the 30 seconds of meditation that I copied from him. And then he was the first person in England charged with the Anti-Terrorism Act or some shit.
Yeah.
And he disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to him.
Well,
He's
they
making
probably
terroristic
don't-
threats.
Making terrorist threats, in it?
Nah,
Well,
that's
it's
bullshit that
go-to.
they do over in England, man. The whole terroristic threat. It's like,
Now, if you have a protest in England and anybody on the street says, I find that offensive, have it removed, they'll do it. It's the law.
They don't
Right,
even-
Ali? Big Ali.
different countries, different rules, man.
Big up Ali.
I do like I need your details, but this is public land. And like, I mean, we know the terminology is different, but we know it's the same fucking conversation.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
they don't say details, they say details.
No, they say details. I've seen
No,
need your details. Give me your
they say
details.
details. Research.
Yeah, I mean,
What is public land?
that's what's going to happen if we keep going down the way we're going now. Here is that it's just going to keep getting more.
snowball.
Yeah, it's going to
Draconian?
get
I
out of
guarantee I'll
hand.
never
Like,
see that.
rights aren't taken away by the day; they're taken away by the decade, by the century. You know, like
That's
these
why we gotta
things-
teach our kids.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a longer goal. They stretch that stuff out so you don't notice it. And as the generations go on, that generation disappears and there's no one to tell the people ahead of it.
Sorry to interrupt, Road. But yeah, teach our kids, because if I always say that I guarantee I'll never see communism or socialism in my country. I guarantee my kids won't, because we're all trained to fight to the death against that.
Well, what I'm saying is like, so a lot of people think that the school shootings, some of the school shootings are false flags that are used to take people's guns away, or to start a movement to take people's guns away. But it's not a movement to take people's guns away today. It's a movement to take people's guns away in 50 years, because
Mm-hmm.
the kids that are going through school nowadays, they're going through these drills. Some of these schools are being shot up, so they're dealing with that. And when they become our age and they're in the legislature and they're voting and stuff like that, they're going to remember all this stuff, all this propaganda and all this other stuff that they're going through now, and it'll get taken away then. And it's people think in short term too
Mhm.
much, because
Yep.
most people only think about themselves.
It's the long
Really,
game.
Or they
truly.
think of extreme examples of what is being presented to them. They don't understand that the long game is another con that they have to ward against. Where they're like, oh yeah, we want to take your guns. Yeah, you never take our guns, like Australia. Yeah, that's one example. But when you create enough, there's going to be a point where
Brainwashing.
there's enough greeny weenies that will narc on the other half of the country, like happened in Cuba. You know what I mean? They have guns, have their guns taken away, and then there's going to be enough guys, not like the few that there are now, even in this police state. Even the police are against. They'll rip off their badges before they try to go against people's Second Amendment today. But a decade from now, I mean, look at a decade ago, what people would accept and tolerate, or 20 years ago. It's you gotta like be steadfast in your morals and your values and pass that on to your generation, so they know not to compromise that.
It's
Wasn't
kind
there?
of like overturning Roe versus Wade. That took decades.
Wasn't
Like
there?
today, it's ridiculous for anybody to say you have to vote this November because they're going to take your guns away. No, they're not. You can't have 2/3 of Congress repeal the Second Amendment and then have all of the cops enforce it peacefully. That's never going to happen. Let's let's reduce it to the ridiculous and take away that irrational fear. But in the long game, what Rogue is talking about, right, bro?
Yes,
man.
sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yeah, because it is a long game. Because again, these people aren't
Look what
looking
they've done in 20 years.
right. So, like, let me give you a perfect example. And again, this is hard for these people to turn down, right? So, because let's say you're born a Rockefeller, right? And they say, look, you're smarter than the average person. You go to Harvard and you go to Yale, and you're being groomed for leadership. You're being groomed to be a senator or the president or the CEO of some Fortune 500 company, whatever it is. And there's hard choices that you have to make, and there's a plan that we've put in action for years, 100 years now. Your great great grandfather John D. Rockefeller, he put this plan into action. All you got to do is follow the plan. You'll be rich your whole life. Just do this and do this exactly how it's done, regardless of the way you might feel about it.
They don't have to keep going to meetings after their grandpa gave them that talk. They're all on board with what everybody else is on board on.
It's expected.
Right. Well, because, and again, it's all about perception and your mindset, right? Because when you look at it, the majority of people are stupid, right? Like, we can all agree that the majority of people are stupid.
The
And
masses. Yes.
right. And
I'm not a genius, but I'm surrounded by morons, especially across the street.
asshole.
Yeah, man. Rights, man. I hear that guy moves into the neighborhood, and I think the property values for everybody else just drop like a stone.
Damn right it did. Listen, the first thing I did was set my couch out on my porch. What the hell do you think?
Put up the patio lights.
And hang a
Dude,
net on the trees.
I had a tire swing out there, dude. Come on.
Pink flamingos, because it's Florida. That's okay, right?
Yeah, pink
Hey, good
flamingos.
night, constitutional freedom fighter.
See you, CFF, and hello. She'll slip your punches. She's in the chat. She just got in the chat a couple minutes back.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, not only that, but I have painted my pad the obligatory Florida, what is that, like light purple? You know what I mean? Like that.
Oh yeah, the light purple is do not enter.
Violet.
Yeah, no, you know how you have a no trespassing sign?
Yeah.
And a lot of states respect that light purple. You paint it around your trees. It's a do not enter that area. You paint it every 50 feet, and that's your legal warning. You know how we look for signs?
Yep.
Any aspiring auditor who is watching this, my only advice to you is first, speak to a lawyer. Second, keep in mind that a jury full of bootlickers might be watching your video to decide your fate. And third, signs will tell you your nonverbal warning. It's a written warning that can be posted somewhere. You can't pass that place, you know? So the purple paint is valid in several states.
Well, I put these purple stripes. What, you don't see them?
Is that what you're talking about, Rob? Purple paint? You painted that shit?
Purple paint?
No, I was just saying that, you know how some houses in Florida have that ugly ass light purple paint job. I was saying that I painted my pad that color.
Violet.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
there's a fact
You
of the matter is that if you paint a purple stripe around trees around your property, that's a legal no trespassing warning.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is.
Now,
I don't
how's a
think
reasonable
that's
person supposed to know that?
well, because it's a state law, and in
Yeah.
the state in the state where you're from, a citizen is supposed to know the law. There's no excuse.
Ignorance of the law is not a defense. And if you're a licensed hunter, they would have covered that in your
Hunting
like
class.
you're trekking through the woods to go hunting, you know, not to cross that purple line.
Right.
Well, that
Now in
means-
Florida, go ahead.
I said, well, a big purple stripe might stand out better than a very small no trespassing sign that's in a invisible area.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's like for Florida, we don't have the paint; we have the signage, and with that, the statute's pretty clear about where the signs have to be placed, and they have to be placed around eye level, and they have to be a certain feet apart, just like the lines painted have to be like 50 feet apart.
Right.
The same thing goes with the signs. They have to ring the property, and they have to be, I believe it's 50 feet apart, in order for that to have the effect that they're looking for.
Gotcha.
Well, purple paint law is effective in Florida.
Is it?
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas, too.
I've never
Yeah.
heard about it in Florida, but I know
Florida,
in other
Alabama,
states.
North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Oh, look at that.
Damn.
I'm in
It's a property
Tennessee and
boundary.
Nebraska.
Right's dropping the bomb of knowledge.
Google, man, on the interweb. Google
Google
machine.
foo? Google foo?
Remember you had to lean on Shell's answer, man? You want $6 for what?
Yeah, right. I can't do nothing for you,
kiss
man.
my butt. No Public Enemy fans out there, huh? Dang.
Sorry.
Running for your life by the night, running from your wife. Yeah. Should have stuck at home. Chose your mind to blow your dough. No?
Sounds like slam poetry.
No, man. When we're on the road, Rogue Nation always picks up, and I think I have it. I'm like nailing it. And then he fucking comes in with the ba-ba-ba-da-ba. He fucking nails it himself. Rogue Nation is the best old school rap artist I know. or radio rap artist. He'll sit there and listen to that shit.
MC
Not only
Freedom.
that, but rock and roll, rock ballads. Like, dude, not for nothing, man. Best road trip partner that you can imagine. You go on a road trip with this guy, it's like, it doesn't matter what music you're into, even if you think it's, hey man, you know that scene in Tommy Boy with RS2? It's like that with him. What do you think about this song? Can we play some fucking Journey? And we both belt out the lyrics. That shit's great.
That's
I'd say
awesome.
some RS2 on a road trip.
Just
Yeah.
with a fun road trip, what you can imagine, that's how it is every time.
It's like if you've seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, when the Hunter Thompson and his lawyers driving across the desert, and he's like, "This has got to be Bat Country."
No, that's you and James Madison audits when you guys told the cops you were bat watching.
What do you mean? You can't see him?
Yeah.
You guys know what we're talking about. Of course.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I enjoy being creative with the stories I create to tell the officers. But I told Wrights that I'm going with a different approach more often than not now. I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but hopefully I will. But I'm going to stop arguing with these people. I'm just going to come right out and tell them what the deal is. You know, when they
You're
ask
gonna
for
get sued if you keep up this behavior. That's it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna coach you through not getting sued. I'm just gonna sue you.
Exactly. I mean, I'm going to tell them what I'm there for. Hey, what are you bidding for? I'm looking for corruption. Do you know anything about it? Are you involved in it? You know
No,
what I mean?
but
Like,
I'm gonna start stopping you from getting the true story. Okay, you get sued.
Soon,
right.
You go to jail.
soon as you get to that point, you should edit the video and put a little segment in at that point that does the Freedom Hawk. It comes in, Freedom Hawk,
I love it.
No, go ahead.
and then it's you. You know, it's saying, okay, yeah, I'm gonna.
Right. I could do like do you guys remember the Great American Hero, like the cheesy like intro he did where he was flying with his cape and shit?
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, I'm
Yeah.
walking on it.
I like
Exactly.
the way Lana deals with them. We're like, you can't be in here, and she's just like, yeah. Uh-huh. She basically just sort of agrees with
Yeah.
nothing they're
Yeah.
saying, but
Yeah,
sounds absolutely like affable. And they're just like, no, ma'am, you can't be here. Well, yeah, yes, I can. And they're just,
Absolutely,
there's no
absolutely,
defense
honey.
against that. She's
Yeah.
not
One
arguing
time
so
they
much
said,
as
hey,
she's
can
just.
I help you? She said, can you get a biscuit?
Well, I've heard a lot of auditors say, yeah, give me a cheeseburger and fries, whatever. I just like that they're like, man, you have to leave. She's like, yeah, when I'm done.
Yeah, but nobody says, can you get a biscuit?
There's
Rogues.
it's a really good way to audit.
Rogue's timing is perfect when he says, "Oh, hey, yeah, I could use a babysitter.
Yes.
Do you need anything?" Like, yeah, absolutely.
He's not lying either.
You can't film in here. And she's like, okay, thank you.
You guys want to hear something that's funny though? Wolfie gladly went to go pay a fine once.
Go ahead.
And he did in coins also, but he was like, look, guys, you guys are making me feed my kids Pop-Tarts for the next month for breakfast, with this fine. And people in the chat or in the comments were giving him a hard time about being a horrible parent. But Wolfie doesn't have kids. We just fucked with them in like coming up with ridiculous claims as an irresponsible parent, but
That
at the
isn't a
same
parent.
time not admitting that you have kids. He was like, I'm gonna go out tonight, and I'm not even gonna get a babysitter. He doesn't need one though. So.
Yeah, right or not right, but Rogue, I like your new approach too. And I've heard you say that you're just going to take the forms already in there with you and explain to them what the deal is, and that you're going to slowly peel back their qualified immunity as you're explaining it to them before you sue them.
Cristo, come on up, Cristo. Kalimera, tikanete.
I said in the chat earlier, though, I think a lot of the 1A community should start trying to hold the cops accountable just for putting a hand on you, just to like slightly push you or move you out of the way. Just like look them dead in the face and be like, I'm going to be FOIA requesting the use of force incident paperwork that you file for that, which means they're going to have to fucking file that.
Yeah. Well, again, shout out to Lana, J-Town Press. In one incident, I made a cop so flustered that he backed his car up into another car. And she FOIA'd the whole training that he had to go through because he crashed the car. I called him out on it. I was like, you just crashed the car. You're going to have to go through training for that, aren't you, you fucking idiot? And then he, sure enough, followed up and found that he did, in fact, go to the training.
That was funny.
Yeah, that guy had no business being a sergeant. Getting all flustered like that because of us? Jesus Christ, those are our cops? It's like New York and Jacksonville, where they just give anybody a badge. New York, all you see is people crushing candy in the subway with badges. It's fucking ridiculous. So, like, if you believe that we need police to maintain order and the law, do you think that it should be some unfit person
No.
just staring at their phone the whole time or sleeping in their car?
Are you waiting for somebody to say yes?
Yeah, I know, right?
Now the cops here, man. The cops here are great because they identify as civil servants. They're not here to bust you. They're not here to fuck with you. If you're doing if you cross the street against the light, they don't immediately grab you, start demanding your ID, and write you a citation. They just kind of call out from wherever they are, usually like on a bicycle.
And most of them,
please wait for the green signal, and that's it.
Hey, Brett, aren't most of them older men, and don't they have to have several black belts in different disciplines of martial arts?
I don't believe that's the case, and there are older cops, but I've seen younger cops. I've seen a few female cops. There's a couple of younger guys that stand out sometimes at my home station out near the grocery store, and they just stand there, and I think they're just kind of making sure people know, hey, the cops are here, so you can be safe. Because again, cops here are different. I always walk up right up next to them, stand like as if they're standing in a line. I stand in their line with them, and I look over, and I'm like yesterday I did that. It was like, where's the criminal? The guy's like, criminals around here? I'm like, you get a lot of criminals around here? He's like, nah, not really. They don't really come here. I was like, oh, then it's a pretty easy job, huh?
Yeah. No, they're not gonna beat you up, but they're gonna let you know to stay in line if you're drunk and rowdy. Right?
Yeah, but since public intoxication is not technically illegal here, as long as you are drunk and not rowdy, they don't really give a shit.
Right, but I'm talking about drunk and rowdy.
Yeah, no, I know. But
yeah,
the thing is,
what I dealt with in Japan was mainly my fellow Marines being the worst example that you could be out in Japan.
Sober and rowdy, they're also going to come after you. It's the rowdy is the part that needs to be pointed out, because drunk or sober, as long as you're not bothering anybody,
don't understand that Japanese conduct their business in their bars and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's you get a lot of post work stuff where you go drinking with the boss, and for a short time, everyone is basically cool. I don't know.
Hi, Rights Crispy. Hi, Rogue Nation. Hi, everybody.
Calimera, Cristo.
Yeah, buddy.
Thing is, man, as long as you don't step out of line here, the cops won't bother you unless you're doing something blatantly fucking illegal. They're gonna leave you alone. They don't care.
Are you in Japan? Are you in Japan?
Yeah, man. It's hence the name.
Okay. Yeah,
I fucking wave at the cops when they go by. I mean, because it's like, why not? They don't have egos, man. They're just civil servants.
Well, it just depends on how the department incentivizes their officers to act. Like in the United States, everything of their career is built on how many busts they make, how many arrests they have, how many traffic tickets they write, and that's how they further their careers. And that's why you have cops.
The numbers here versus, I think in Japan, it's the actual good that they do. Japanese police, I think that from my experience is their numbers are based off of public service and what it should be is what one man
completely opposite over here.
Yeah. Over here it's numbers of how can we keep the prison industrial complex going.
Also, from what I can tell, there's no blue line. I think I'm guessing here, but I feel like if a police
cop steps out of line in Japan, they're gonna shame him. Anybody themselves in any profession over there.
Yeah, I think if they didn't can him, I think he would probably basically quit in shame and go do something else. Because yeah. So there's no fucking blue line here, which is it's refreshing. It's refreshing.
Dealing with a much different people too, so different mentality.
Yeah, I mean they had a horrible nuclear accident and shit happened over there, but then they took volunteers to be like, who wants to give their life to clean this up? They're like, I will.
Yeah, seriously. Like who will sacrifice their lives to save the greater number of people? I mean, it's basically the end of Wrath of Khan, only with a handful of people in a much larger number.
It's the kamikaze mentality.
Yeah.
Well, it's the guys
there's a birthday for every kid out there one day. There's one day out of the year where they celebrate the birthday of all children, right? Isn't it National Kids Day?
And yeah, I think so, but I don't know if it's a public holiday. They have Respect for the Aged Day, and that's a public holiday, but I'm not sure if
there's a Kids Day, there's an Elder Day.
Yeah, there is a day for children. It's 753, and that's because a long time ago the child mortality rate was insanely high. So if your kid made it to 3 years old, that was a milestone. If they made it to 5, that's milestone number 2. And if they made it to 7, it's a red letter fucking day over here.
Yeah, it's just cool that whole culture is very family oriented and morals and values are key to the whole culture, not just to their families individually and separate from the rest of the world. It's the whole country just jives that way. It's like, hey guys, everybody, today's Kids Day. You know what I mean?
It's not weird to live with your parents past, say, high school and college. I mean, once you get married, then sure, you and your spouse get your own place, and you can move out sooner if you want to. But it's like, wait, you're 20-something and still live with your parents? People don't ask that fucking question.
And it's not weird to be weird in Japan. Are you a recluse? You don't like to go out? You want to stay in your house all day? That's fine. In Japan,
it's considered a little weird. It's just that no one's going to shun you for it because you're not going out. No, weird is cool.
You've been in Japan too long, my friend, because over here in the States, it's normal for 35-year-olds to be staying in mom's basement playing Xbox.
Yeah. But I'm not talking, neckbeard basement dwellers. I'm talking like regular people who just, they just fucking live at home for a while. And then, of course, once you and your wife, you get older, you have a family, and your parents get older, then they just move the fuck in with you. So, I mean, you trade it off. No, man, the neckbeard basement dwellers were thriving when I lived back in the States because I played online games with them all the fucking time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's
Well, their
funny.
society is different, and if you look at maybe, their views on pornography, how it's basically banned. At least, you can't see anything hardcore. That's why they're into anime. And I was wondering, I'd heard years ago that the kids stay a couple hours after school each day and they clean the school.
Yeah. There's you don't really have
What
janitors
the
in
fuck
schools,
are
man.
you talking about?
The kids
There
are
is
in
no
charge of,
like the most porno country in the world is Japan.
Yeah, but
I
he was
went
asking
there. I got so desensitized. It's the freakiest freaknik. More than a
But I
black
thought their
girl
video,
freaknik in Atlanta would blush at Japan.
but porn videos, they blur everything out.
They do.
Okay, that's your experience, sir. I lived there, and Brad will
Okay.
tell you it's a freaky ass fucking country.
You just got to know where to go.
Yeah.
Day-to-day stuff, you're not really going to see it.
Have you ever heard of bukkake?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Well, I'm not saying that, they in closed rooms they don't do it, but I'd always, seen the videos, they'll blur out the crotch area and can't
Well,
show
yeah,
penetration.
they often do.
That's for sale. That's
They
for
do
sale.
that, but what are you watching though, sir?
But
Well,
Jason, you were.
I know where to go, Snap
I'm
Face.
very
They
specific.
have different themed hotels. I was 18, man. What do you think? I was 18.
But Jason,
Those days are long behind me here now.
Jason, you are correct in that the kids do a lot of the cleaning of the schools. They also stay late because of clubs. The club membership percentage is very high here. The fact if somebody isn't in a club and just goes home after school, that's kind of an anomaly. But yeah, kids clean the chalkboard. They run brooms down the hallways.
Put you to work.
When they have a school festival, they set it up, and then there's a whole day afterward that they strike everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you teach a kid, hey, this is your school, and that's why you clean it, then they'll have more respect for it.
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah.
That's
There's a
why
lot less vandalism and graffiti and shit, I think, around schools.
there's Singapore, right? One of the worst places for sex trafficking, but they don't allow you to spit your gum out on the street or anything. And everybody that lived in public housing that was renting was given their houses overnight. They realized that people would take care of their property better if they had a pride in
There you
ownership.
go. Yeah.
So they gave them their properties, and sure enough, it's the cleanest country on the planet.
But they will
Wow.
cane your ass if you break the law, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spit on the sidewalk.
Don't graffiti cars like if you're a 14-year-old American kid over there. They'll cane you.
Oh, yeah. I'll do.
Remember that kid? Damn,
I
people
know.
aren't old enough, Brad. I know you know.
I'm not sure I remember that one specifically. I
That
just
one
heard.
kid,
the Singapore kids.
you said caning because that was the punishment.
I just know that Singaporean cops will cane the fuck out of anyone and everyone who breaks the law in front of them.
Well, that comes from Snapface remembers. That kid was caned. It was a public caning of an American in Singapore.
They'll teach you.
I'm
You know what
probably
I'm talking about,
I don't
Ro?
remember it as clearly as you. I'm sorry, man. But I do remember hearing some about that. That's probably where I got it.
Bro, you making flapjacks?
No, what are you talking about?
Remember that kid in Singapore?
He's just sitting there going. He's just sitting there going. Why the fuck are we talking about Asia? This is my fucking chat.
Oh, congratulations on your award, Rogue. I saw
Yes.
What
Thank you,
awards you get?
man.
What awards you get?
I got most likely to be handsome.
Most knowledgeable.
Like when? I mean, most likely to be handsome makes it sound like it's not now, but sometime in the future.
It is. It is.
When do you expect that to happen?
I don't know. There's no ETA on that. It could be any day now, or it could be 100 years from now.
100 years from now, and you get handsome, you're going to be the best looking corpse in the yard.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
Are they coming to the door and presenting it, or do you have to go somewhere to get it?
No, I got it there at the event.
Very
What's
nice.
it look like? Is it a plaque or is it like a nice little statue of a guy holding this camera on a stick?
It's like I don't know what it's like, to be honest, Brad. It looks almost like, you ever seen Superman? You know, like those ice crystals in his.
Yes, where he had to fight with his dad.
It looks like that.
You got a piece of the Fortress of Solitude as your award?
It is. That's what it. Yeah, dude.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
Why-
and it's.
Here's my question: why are you showing us a video instead of just fucking putting on your camera and holding up the goddamn award so we can see it?
No. This is the Venezuelan government, and it's not too far off of what we're gonna reach.
Right, but he's talking about an award instead of showing it to us.
This kind of behavior is
Hail
not
to
tolerated in
Zod.
Nicaragua. You shout like that, they put you in jail right away. No trial, no nothing. Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists. You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, glasses. You right to jail. You undercook fish, believe it or not, jail. You overcook chicken, also jail. Undercook, overcook. You make an appointment with the dentist and you don't show up, believe it or not, jail, right away. The best patients in the world because of jail.
I love the sash.
Healing jail.
I like the giant sash.
Beat up and arrested. What's that all about?
Rogue, let's see that award, man.
No, sir. The camera's off. I'm chilling.
Show the speech.
You don't need to be in the shot with it. Just set it on the desk, move out of the shot. We can all marvel at it, say ooh and ah, and then you click the camera off and I don't know, put it back on the shelf or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Post it on the community tab.
Yeah, I'll take a picture and post it up there. That's fine. That'll do fine.
Get a backdrop that shows a what do you call it? And you standing at a podium, and you could say your speech.
I'll Photoshop Fez holding it.
It's not enough, Rogue, that you released a video tonight of you accepting the award.
That's fine.
Is it up there? When I clicked on Rogue Nation, this was the top thing, so that's what I was looking at. That's why.
Yep. It is the top thing. This is the top thing of the hour.
Ah, there it is. Okay, well, I'll just watch it later then. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't think you get a good view of it really in the video either. So I'll take a picture and put it on my community tab anyway.
In a community full of people who fucking have cameras on them at all times, somebody took bad footage of you receiving a fucking award. Who was the camera operator?
Well,
we weren't worried about taking good videos that night.
Yeah, no, I don't think. As a matter of fact, now that you mention it, I'm thinking back to the video, and I'm thinking that somebody did like come over my shoulder and get a good shot of it. But what I'll do is I'll put up a picture
video,
anyway.
Who took the video that you're showing?
It's my video, but I handed it off to my camera. I handed off to Auditing County, I believe, to go up and accept the award.
Well, that explains it.
And Dan Erie County took bad video of you? Jesus
well,
Christ.
I don't think it's bad video, but again, I
need to zoom in on that shit.
Hold on.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on, Wright's just gonna pull it up for us right now.
When I got it on I got it on the computer. For some reason, man, I couldn't get the mic to work on my new laptop. I'm gonna have to play with it some, so I'm on the old one.
Respond to that, sir.
You bastard.
You bastard.
Fight me or you lose your teeth.
Fight me up, use your teeth.
Captain Awesome.
Snicker. There's Larry. Hold on. Larry,
holding a camera.
this guy right here. Larry is a great dude. He put up this whole place so we can have it at his place, and everybody liked Larry because he let us do it at his place.
And so this is from the peers. Most knowledgeable Rogue Nation.
That's right.
Most knowledgeable.
Another thing, before anything, when I saw what the categories were and I saw the trophies, I knew this was his. And didn't I tell you that, bro, on the way up there?
No, you said Auditing America.
You're right. It's Enrique. I said Enrique had it hands down.
No, I'm just
But
playing.
in an
Yeah,
upset, you would win.
in an upset. Yeah.
And then you don't have a beer from me, though.
Oh wow, that's kind of
there we
cool.
go.
Yeah, it's like a big crystal.
Yeah, it weighs about 50 pounds.
Yeah, dude. It's like a piece of the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, you're the
You
son
can
of
meditate
Jarrell.
on that shit, man. That's big enough. You could meditate on that goddamn thing all day.
Dude, and hey, listen, that shit is heavy. Like, you have to be Superman to hold that shit for any length of time, dude. Like, you can seriously, like, work out with that shit.
But to say, man, it's one hand free weight, and then switch over to the other hand. You'll be
Put it on a chain. Put it on a chain.
Yeah, dude, that would be like Mr. T chain heavy. Seriously,
Hey,
dude.
But hear him out, though.
That's fine.
No, but hear him out.
No, thank you folks very much. I love what I do. I love that other people love what I do. And I mean, I don't think I'll ever stop until I'm dead. So, I'll keep doing what I try to do, and I'll keep letting people know how we can better ourselves, and hopefully, people will listen and take it to heed. And, stop watching all this jibber jabber, start working on educating our youth and getting these people under control. These people work for us, and like any boss, we should be present in their daily routine and make sure that they're doing what's right for us, because it's only going to affect us. It's going to affect all of us. It's going to raise our property taxes. Just their bad decisions. Every one of us has already seen it in our lives. That's why we're here. That's why we watch the videos. And the movement keeps growing because, unfortunately, the government screws somebody over.
Brick Jonesy is the name I was trying to remember. The only other person besides Rogue Nation who actually said something about First Amendment that night.
Every day. Every day in this country, more and more people turn and say, what's really going on? Where's this dream that they promised us all these years when we were growing up? What's this great dream? Property and
I love this, where he points out that it's not a one-time thing.
get a job and raise some children, and everything will work out fine, but it doesn't. And for a lot of people, they don't have a voice and they don't know how to fight back, because obviously the government wasn't going to teach us how to fight back when they wronged us. I mean, common sense here. So we have to reach out. We have to educate ourselves and help educate other people when they come to this realization finally, because there's a lot of people out there that don't realize that there's an issue, right? There's a lot of people out there because they don't interact with their public officials. They don't interact with the police. They stay as far away from the police and city hall as they possibly can. So they have no clue how these people act. They don't know that there's idiots running city hall that are charging.
Hey, and people who are watching our channels don't know how bad it is. Even though they sit there and watch our channels, they still don't know the full story of the email that I got back denying my fucking records request. You know what I mean?
$3,000 a month to get their hair and nails did. I mean, we've all heard the stories. You've all seen the videos. This isn't something that just, this happens every once in a while. Every single day, 20 to 30 to 40 of our channels are putting out stories about these guys' bad behavior. This isn't a one-off. This isn't a few bad apples. It's just not.
Bravo.
It's just
Bravo.
not.
Bravissimo.
Nice job.
Bravo.
Give the pyromaniac the Zippo lighter.
And then this is really cool right here. Let's read this together. Thank you, folks, for the years of support in this journey to acquire accountability from our employees. When you know the truth, it is your duty to pass it on, no matter what the risks. Heed the call. Record your officials. Much love, Patriots. Thank you, Rogue. Much love to you, bro.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I was very happy to talk about it up there, so I wanted to share that with everybody. Everybody that supported me over the years, that's been there for all the videos. I mean, we've done a lot. We've been to a lot of places. We've forced a lot of employees to comply and to stop resisting. And I mean, there's still a lot more to go. There's still a lot more to do, but every step is a process. Just like when I told people when I started suing, I'm not going to win them all. It's not going to happen. But the experience that I'll gain as I go along will help ensure that the chances are better on the next one. And again, quite frankly, to me, when they, pay to defend a lawsuit, I'm already winning, right? Because I've already taken away the one thing that they knew for sure, right? Because and everybody's seen it in our videos when we tell cops that we're going to sue them, they kind of like roll their eyes and yeah, whatever,
They say, okay.
Exactly. Right. And they know because they probably hear that more every day than even their own freaking name, right? Because everybody they arrest is going to sue them, right? Let's just be real. We've all seen the body cam footage. We've all seen the TV show Cops, and you know what I mean? Like everybody literally is going to sue the cops, right? So they hear that all the freaking time compared to the amount of times they are sued, right? So when we
I
say,
was gonna say no, not everybody is gonna sue everybody's gonna say they're gonna sue the cop.
well, right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So when they come upon us and we say we're gonna sue them, and they just do the same thing they do with everybody, which is give the eye roll and be like, yeah, whatever, and then we end up suing them. Now we've taken that away from them, right? Especially when it's for something that's minor, like a detainment or an ID, you know, because they do those things all day, every day, right? So when you come across the citizen who's not a lawyer, right? And you guys know how I dress. Like my wife says, I dress like I'm a teenager, but I wear graphic tees that I like that have, expressions that I want to share. And, stuff like that. I wear shorts. I wear flip flops because I'm in Florida most of the time or wherever down south.
You
And
dress like a distinguished gentleman, so there.
right, whatever.
Rogue, you fucking dress like me. Jesus Christ.
Right. So
you and I have the same fucking fashion sense.
So yeah, so I dress like that and I'm comfortable like that. Sure I could wear a suit or whatever, but I'm not all stuffy and shit like that. So I'm just wearing whatever, and they look at me and they're like, "Oh, this guy's just shooting the shit. He's got a camera. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about."
We were in
Basically.
the Mercedes dealership yesterday. Remember?
What? We were in the Mercedes dealership yesterday. Yeah.
Leslie Silman was getting service, and dude, not for nothing, but I could have bought one of those Mercedes right there, and then, but since they looked at us and they judged us, they were like, "Nah." I could have.
I told him, dude. I said, bring out your most expensive ride. I'll go for a test drive. But they
that one guy who was cool with us when we were walking through the parking lot, though, I went into his office and I was like, "Hey, man, if I do ever buy another Mercedes, it'll be with you because you didn't judge a book by its cover." And he was like, "Thanks, man. I know, I never do."
Salesmen, they should never, unless you're barefoot, wearing a loincloth.
Let me say thanks to Ohio Steve for the comment there. Thanks, bud. All right, guys. Well, it's getting late. We've been on for 2 hours. It's 1 in the morning here, 1:30 almost. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for Halloween night.
What are you talking about? It's November 1st. It's not even 2:30 p.m., man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. You're loving it, right? It's during the day. Probably bright and sunny.
Well, no, it's cloudy as fuck, but at least it's cool down here. It's high 60s.
It was hot here today, 80s.
It sounds like a radio show. Brad, you have such a radio voice.
I briefly did radio.
High 60s here in Nagano, Japan. Welcome, everyone.
Hey, man, every Sunday, man, all my lessons on Sunday I do from
Los Angeles Dodgers, World Series champions.
Oh no, all of my lessons I do on Sunday are in a studio at a camera. I have shitloads of students that are basically watching over Zoom on 18-minute lessons, and I do, man. I start the lesson, and here I'll turn my camera on, show you, be like, "Hey everybody, welcome back to Live Station Sunday. As always, I'm Brad here in Tokyo." So,
very good.
Honestly, doing that actually helped me do better on my videos on my YouTube channel. Doing the camera stuff, man. I got to play around. What?
I said you have a YouTube channel?
I have a fucking YouTube channel. I've had it for like 2 fucking years now. I don't do 1A. I am food and travel, but yeah, man, I have a channel.
What's the name of your channel? I'm on a smartphone, so I can't read everybody.
Japan. One Man in Japan, but it's not 1A. I'm in Japan, and I mostly do cooking and food reviews.
Cocaine and food reviews.
Yes, cocaine and food reviews. That's right there, Chris Bright.
This cocaine has a mild addition of acetone in it.
Yeah, he does
hooker the right freeze on my gums.
He does hookers and meth review.
That's perfect. I'm going to his channel right now. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Don't listen to these guys. They don't do anything interesting. My channel is
Brad's Coke reviews.
I've reviewed Coca-Cola, but I haven't actually.
he does the triad. He does the triad tri-weekly.
No. Triad. I believe is China.
Oh, yeah.
Also, drugs here. You guys got to remember that, like, even pot in Japan is considered like super incredibly dangerous. Drug.
If you get caught with a joint in Japan, you spend 9 years eating fish heads and rice. Am I right?
I will say this though, like underage drinking here is, I think, a lot lower than the States. Like you'll ask like somebody who's under 20, because 20 is the legal age, You're like, hey man, you ever tried this? This beer? And like at a store, because I can't tell how old fucking people are in Asia because they all look young.
20
I'm
is
like,
the
hey, have you
legal
ever tried
age
this?
to win.
And they'll say, no, I'm not 20 yet. I mean, when they're 20, the shackles are off, but before that, they don't touch beer
because it was 18 when I got there.
Like the legal age, basically the age of adulthood here, the age majority is 20. That's for basically everything.
I got shit faced in Japan more than anywhere else when I was 18.
Yeah, but you were also an American, and you probably got a little bit of leeway. Where were you again?
Okinawa.
See, I think the servicemen I think they play by different rules down there.
No, they hated our guts.
Well, we're gonna play by different rules tonight, and we're gonna cut it short. So
sorry, man, I didn't mean to hijack that.
So no, that's fine, everybody. I'm just tired, and I gotta get out of here. So, yep, that's
I gotta
fine.
go get my fucking laundry.
Have a good one, guys. Good talking to you.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Emily.
There you go.